Hey everyone, thanks for tuning in. As usual, this is Mr. Gerald coming to you once again with another point of view. It's lucky episode 7, folks, and I decided to make this installment special, as I've done in the past occasionally. It's going to be a one-segment show today, folks, for no particular reason, aside from me feeling like giving somewhat of a public service announcement. So, no point in dilly-dallying. It's time to talk about what's happening now. Sort of. Have you ever found yourself at a crossroads in life? Chances are you have. Life's full of them. And sometimes it's a tough choice. Sometimes it's not. And then sometimes the choice is so simple, so clear, and so apparent that proceeding one route is the better option. But we choose the other option. Bad habits, bad inclinations, personal biases. We've all got them to some degree. They have an effect on our decision making. And sometimes, even when you know something isn't good for you in the long run, and even when everyone else is telling you it's only doing you harm to continue, and the signs are as clear as day that this will not likely go well for you, you continue on and ignore the warning signs, almost stubbornly, in favor of personal preference. There are a certain group of individuals who can probably relate to that situation rather well. Those individuals are cigarette smokers. More specifically, cigarette smokers who are considering or have previously considered quitting, which is who this entire segment is geared towards. Before anybody gets defensive, understand that this is not intended to be a condescending episode, nor is it a self-righteous one. You see, I've known many smokers, young, old, male and female, of varying race and ethnicity, you name it. I've never smoked a day in my life, never felt the need nor the urge to do so, but I'm not the type of person who will tell others that I think they should quit smoking, unless they're considering it and have sought my opinion or advice on the matter. At the end of the day, the act of smoking a cigarette is not a crime. Smoking in certain, or perhaps all, public areas, depending on what country you live in, might be a crime, and quite frankly, given what is known about the dangers of secondhand smoke, I'd say that is fair. But at the end of the day, if you consciously decide to smoke a cigarette in private, with nobody around to involuntarily inhale the secondhand smoke, I've got no problem with that in my book. More power to you. And that's the end of the show. No, I'm joking, obviously. This segment is intended to be informative, along with giving opinions. Now, generally speaking, from my experience, there tend to be 3 types of smokers when it comes to how they handle the facts related to smoking. They either don't know the facts, they know the facts, but do so anyways because they can't quit or don't care to quit, or they don't care to know the facts. If you're part of the first group, or if you're considering taking up smoking but don't know the facts, I thought I'd give you some of the facts or research findings about smoking tobacco. You see, tobacco use is linked to cause diseases that affect a person's heart, liver, and lungs. Smoking dramatically increases your risk of suffering a heart attack, a stroke, chronic obstructive pulmonary disease, or COPD, and various types of cancers. It's also linked to peripheral vascular disease and hypertension. Smoking also plays a significant factor in a woman being at risk to suffering a miscarriage while pregnant, or causing problems to the fetus. But don't worry, guys, tobacco hasn't forgotten about you. Because if you smoke, it is reported you have a higher chance of suffering from erectile dysfunction. Do note that many of these risks also apply to people exposed to secondhand smoke, in case you didn't know. The World Health Organization estimates cigarettes kill about 6 million people a year, 10% of which are due to exposure to secondhand smoke. The Center for Disease Control and Prevention, also known as the CDC, lists smoking as the single most important preventable risk of human health and a major cause of premature death worldwide. A fair portion of the negative effects of smoking have been known and reported on since January of 1964, when the Surgeon General of the United States of America released its first report linking smoking to lung cancer and chronic bronchitis. The report based its findings on more than 7,000 articles at the time on the subject of smoking and its correlation with the diseases in biomedical research. If you have ever bought or purchased a pack of cigarettes in the United States, you need only look at the package itself and it will contain a Surgeon General's warning, essentially telling you all of this and that smoking cigarettes may kill you and you should seriously consider quitting. And that's not a cigarette maker offering you a courtesy warning. They're required to do that by law. Now, once again, before anybody cries foul, no. By smoking cigarettes, it is not guaranteed you will be dead before the age of 50 or that you will not live to see old age. There are always exceptions or extraordinary cases of individuals living to old age despite smoking. Not to mention, advances in modern medicine have improved life expectancy and the ways to combat cancer, heart disease, and so on. Now you might be thinking, why am I talking about all of this? Well, the main reason is, in total honesty, it's my show and I can. But if I had to be honest, the inspiration for this segment is that I stumbled today on an article about a health minister in Queensland, Australia, being open to discussing a cigarette ban on smoking in Queensland. The ban would apply to anyone born after the year 2001. We're talking about an outright generational ban on smoking. Period. What are my thoughts on that legislation? I feel the idea is absolutely ridiculous. Outright prohibition of smoking is not the solution. There are certain things you can't force someone to do. At the end of the day, and once again, this is for anyone struggling to quit, who wants to, smoking is a choice, and only you can make that choice to put an end to it. The only thing others can do is be encouraging, supportive, and perhaps help alleviate temptation in some sense. But if you don't want to quit, it's not going to happen. You know the negatives, you know the risks. Hell, you might know for sure that in the long term this will not go well. You might even see the warning signs clear as day when you occasionally cough a certain way while smoking. But you might also know that in the here and now, that urge to smoke keeps you from quitting and sticking to your decision. It's tough to break a habit that feels good in the here and now, even if you know in the long term it will likely screw you over. I'll never think any less of someone who can't break the habit after trying. We're all different, and cases vary. Maybe the support structure isn't there, or the dependency is just too strong. But I want you to know, if you're struggling with quitting or breaking the habit, here's some positive encouragement. Even if I don't know you personally, I believe in you, and you will overcome. I mean, if quitting was easy, smoking would have stopped being an issue a long time ago. But you can do it. From me to you, please, stay strong. You can do this. That's all for today. See you next week.